Yeah, it's kind of funny. Commerce media has actually been around a really long time. Travel media networks have been around a really long time. So it's funny how retail media came around. It took all the attention, and now it's coming back to including commerce media as well. So there are a bunch of players in this space, like travel has existed for a long time, and I see financial taking off, and transportation, and a bunch of others.
So, what are some of the ingredients to set up a commerce media network? Do you have to have a certain kind of scale, or do you have to have a certain kind of, I don't know, data resource that you have, or what's happening there?
You need to have a point of purchase experience, and you have to enable advertisers to either tap into that point of purchase experience right before, during, or right after, or you need to have the data surrounding it for them to activate on other properties. Scale is a questionable issue. The industry is still trying to figure it out. There's one school of thought that says only the big guys should participate, and then there's another school of thought, which I believe in, where you can have smaller players participate as well, but in a more aggregated way.
Oh, I see. So if you are a small or medium-sized business, but you do want to sell advertising, you could be kind of grouped in with a bunch of others and, build up a network that way.
Yeah, and that's how it works in programmatic advertising. You have publishers of all sizes that tap into that.
Interesting. Okay. So what do you see happening, let's say, in the next year or so? Is there anything that you're particularly excited about with commerce media?
I'm excited to see these new entrants get their feet wet. They're still learning the right way to enter this market, just like retailers did. Retailers certainly became the biggest media companies in the world overnight, and I think commerce is going through the same path now. And one of the key pieces of that is also getting comfortable with it from a legal standpoint. I think these commerce networks, especially the new ones, the space like the financial ones, are still grappling with how to utilize that data, what's safe, what's not. So I'm hoping over the next year they make big strides towards figuring that out.
Well, we often hear about having a first mover advantage and being the first to market, but it seems to be that there's also a late mover advantage, especially in this space, to just kind of build on the experience of others and the platforms and the technology and everything and the procedures. What could you tell us about that?
I think it's a double-edged sword, actually. There's a lot to be learned from the world of retail media for these new commerce media networks. But then there are a lot of things that maybe they shouldn't learn and maybe learn for themselves, because they're not, all the things that work for retail media don't necessarily work for commerce media itself. In some ways, commerce media can be even bigger and have more options for what it can do versus retail media. More openness to things like non-endemic advertising. So I think commerce media should learn from retail media, but then it should also chart its own path.
Oh, that's interesting. Could you provide just another example of what you think they shouldn't learn from the retail media experience?
Yeah, the retail media experience revolves a lot around search and a lot around the SKUs that pop up once you do search for something. In the world of commerce media, if you're Chase or if you're an Afterpay, you're almost upstream of that. People are using you as a tool to go out and purchase things from retailers. You're kind of sitting over a lot of different retailers before they even get to them. And you see what happens when they actually do buy from them. So if you have a multi-retailer view of the ecosystem, that can be monetized and should be monetized in different ways.
So do you find yourself educating clients a lot on a particular area, or are there any common questions that you find yourself answering for brands, advertisers, or perhaps on the other side, somebody setting up a commerce media site?
Yeah, I think it's educating and learning at the same time. We look at established commerce media networks and the tactics they've used to grow and scale. And we then try to distill it and try to figure out what's applicable to these new commerce media networks that are emerging. And there's always like a ton of nuances for each new application that you have to address.